So, Jim, in this session, we talk about know what you're paying for. I mean, this in an environment that a lot of these storms occur in, it's kind of changing all the time. You know, you get somewhere, then you realize, oh my gosh, I need 10 more of this, or it's just ever changing. It's a dynamic world. So, um, you mentioned a hurricane story here, and I wanted to have you kind of tee this up with, as an example, what's an example of the principle of know what you're paying for, and then we come back and talk about the research and the demobilization.
All right. So yeah, the hurricane story I wanted to talk about was, and it relates to knowing what you're paying for. We were assisting during Hurricane Katrina, and we had a significant amount of contractors released, as well as our own employees. And the employees were down there working, and we have a set time frame where we take a hard look at what our employees, how long they've worked, and we look at it from a safety point. So we typically look at it being 2 weeks or 14 days. And that includes the travel down as well as the time there. Now, when you're getting right around around 12 days, you start looking at, what did they do during those first 12 days? Did they get down there, prepare for a hurricane, and then maybe stayed in a hotel for a day or two while the event passed? Well, if they have, you may say, from a safety standpoint, we can go 16 days. So in this particular situation, we were looking at, we're going to have to pull them 14 to 15 hours because we were responding to Katrina after the fact. We weren't pre-staged. So we said, okay, we need to be pulling our people back, just the company resources. And the company we're working for said, well, can you replace them? We still got another week or two of work here. And we said, well, let us check. And we checked, and we came back and said, yeah, we can go ahead and we can replace them, but we can't leave because we had such a significant amount of contractors out property, as well as a good amount of our actual company resources, that we could not leave our areas basically with such a limited number of resources. Now, we were coming all the way from Indiana, Michigan, Ohio, West Virginia, Virginia, as well as some that were closer by in the Louisiana, Texas, Arkansas area. Those that were local, they were going to be able to travel within a day or so, get to their location at the same time the crews that were leaving that had reached their 14 days would cross. So those were your typical normal 14-day replacements. But the ones up in what we call eastern part of the corporation, we couldn't afford to have them off property that much for that long of a time because it was going to be a 2.5 to 3 day drive. So we worked with the company that we were assisting, and here's where you get to know what you're paying for. They agreed that we could charter a plane and fly the people down. So we were flying the replacements for the people we were going to fly back. So for one day, the people would be off property going down. They would put on the plane those that had worked the 14 days and bring them back. Now, that's a lot of expense, but when the company that we're responding to looked at the ability to get other resources, the amount of time that if we exchanged them without flying, we would have had about 5 to 6 days of nobody on their property working, traveling. Understanding all those costs, they made the decision that they could fly them and that they felt it was justifiable to them if they went and asked for any type of rate relief. The thing that happened on our end is you have a little bit of hurdles you got to look at, and we expressed those to Entergy, and that fact that we need to move resources around because we're bringing people back and they're going back to where they left, and they took their truck and now there's no truck there. So they have to bring a truck into their area for them to be able to respond if something went wrong. So it's a lot of work, but we worked with the utility and knew exactly.